Hey YouTube, Awesome Writer here. Welcome to my video where I'm going to be discussing everything I'd like to see, or not everything, but stuff I'd like to see out of Sentai in 2024 and beyond. You know, I do these videos every year. If this upload schedule goes correctly, this should be going after Writer. So yeah, with Sentai this year, obviously we have Boom Boomger on the horizon, so we'll talk about that first. I'm recording this before we have any real footage, just to get a jump on it, but you know, obviously they look very unique in terms of their suits, but there's also a bit of a back to basics feel to some of it, and there's, you know, been rumors and discussions of like, it is going to be a bit more back to basics, be a bit more silly and fun, which has me worried, which, that sounds funny, like I'm against fun. It's just like, my idea of fun is just not toku fun. But the point is that doesn't necessarily mean it'll be bad. And that doesn't even necessarily mean that I wouldn't be open to it, just because my main worry is more so about I like that Sentai's been shaking things up, and I don't want to see that end. Like, I'd be even fine with Boom Boomger being a honk-in-your-face toku series that annoys the piss out of me, but the formula is not the generic, like, almost a PR formula, but I guess same thing, the same Sentai formula. Just so that they continue the trend of, like, having a different formula for the show. You know, because that's been my favorite thing about the last couple years is, like, Sentai is unbelievable formulaic. It's, like, one of the most formulaic shows I watch, and after you watch it for years, it gets exhausting. The same formula, you know, fight the bad guy, he blows up, Megazord, filler episode, filler episode, filler episode, you know, fine. It's like, you can write a map for every series. And the thing that's been great is they've been more experimental lately. You know, Dawn Brothers was sort of experimental, but really more so, I mean, Zenkaiger was sort of experimental. More so, though, I was going to say Dawn Brothers and King Oger, in terms of experimental, not just talking about the designs, but the structure. The structure of how the stories are told feels much more serialized and different than your typical Sentai. And that's what I want to see continue with Boom Boomger. Even if it ends up being a more silly series that's not my cup of tea, I hope they continue that idea of changing up the formula and not just going back to basics. Like, not that I would never want to see a basic series like that again, but I'd like to see them continue experimenting with that, and I hope that ends up being true. And I just hope the series is good and it's something that I can enjoy. You know, I certainly don't want to be hate watching it like I have been Gotchard, and you know, I know that I'm already worried about the annoying twerp Red, but I do definitely hope it's good. But I just hope they continue that trend, because part of the talk was like, oh, they age up Sentai until they go back so they can appeal to younger kids, and again, it's like, why not just appeal to all the kids? Just appeal to all of them. I don't understand. Anyway, regardless, I just hope they continue to be experimental and keep things fresh, even if it's not 100% my cup of tea, because that's been really cool lately to see Sentai both experiment visually but also structurally, and I hope that that continues with Boom Boomger. And apparently there's going to be some cameos in this, which was Tokyuger and was it Goanger? I think Goanger has an anniversary. Of course, anniversary's got to celebrate it, but who am I to stop them? I just hope it's as well done as the King Oger, or the King Oger one, but the Kyuger one in the King Oger one. You know, the last couple times he's appeared, when he just popped in the middle of an arc to help King, or what's his name? Brackley's brother. What's his dude's name? Gira. Anyway, and he just pops in to help him and then flies away. That felt like what I was worried about it being, just shallow, intrusive crap. There's been a couple of those, but the core of it was way better than I thought it was going to be. They tied the mythologies together in a really cool way. The 2 episodes were great. So I don't know if they'd necessarily tie the mythologies of Tokyuger and Goanger, I think again is the rumor, with Boom Boomger, but I hope it's as well done, and I hope it just isn't like the more awful ones they've had in King Oger. I just hope it's well done. Speaking of, you know, I don't really need or want to see a bunch of more Sentai crossover movies, but I would certainly not be opposed to more Returns movies. Not like flooding the market with them or anything, but when the opportunity arises, when there's like a 10-year, 20 or 5-year, whatever, if they can get the cast together for a good Returns movie, I've been enjoying those. You know, I like those so much better than just the shallow team-up movies, plot mess garbage, because it's nice just to catch up with these characters, because that's honestly was always one of my favorite things about the annual Sentai and PR team-ups was, like, yeah, it was cool to see the old cast and the new cast interact, but it was always kind of like an epilogue of like, hey, here's what these guys have been doing, and so I've really been liking that about the Sentai Returns movies, and it's always nice with stuff like Hurricane or Alba Ranger, Deca Ranger, when they can get the whole cast back, and most of the ones they've had recently have been pretty good. So this is kind of more of a like this year and into the future, but if they can get you know, the cast together and make a solid Returns movie that's just a Returns movie about those characters. No shoehorning in has-been Metal Heroes or other Dino Sentai. Just a nice little catch-up with those characters. I'm not opposed to that at all. As far as merchandising, you know, they've been doing a lot of really cool Memorial Edition things lately, but I wish they would cool it a little bit. Maybe it's just me, but it feels like they've been releasing so many of them so fast, which is like a first world problem. But it's like, man, both, it takes kind of the excitement away, where it's like when they used to announce something really cool, like the big 1-to-1 Ryu Soul Calibur. I was like, oh man, that's so cool. But now it's like they announce something like that every day and it becomes less exciting. But also it's like they're so expensive, it's hard to keep up. Like I was like debating, like, do I really want to get the D-Sword Vega? I'm like, I kind of do. And then they announced the King Oja Calibur and it's like, you just can't keep up with it financially or mentally. And I wish they would calibrate it a little bit. We also don't need them to play full audiobooks in these things. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, there's just been way too many of those, to be honest with you. Like, there's still stuff I want to see in regards to Memorial Morphers and weapons. Like, I still want the damn Quasar Saber. But just cool it a little bit. I'm sure they won't. They're not going to listen to this. They shouldn't. But I'm just saying, that would be nice. It would be nice for them to make it feel a little bit less overwhelming. I don't have as much about the main line. It seems like we're moving away from the articulated mecha, which is a little bit disappointing. I was kind of hoping we'd stick with that. I think they really modernized it. It was cool to have them look more like the show and be more like posable. I thought that was really cool. It's kind of a shame with that. But outside of that, I don't have too much else. I guess the only last thing I would want to see is I do actually hope we see more Sentai figurearts. It's funny because I feel the older Sentai figurearts are still more romanticized. And I wasn't like super stoked about them coming back, but they've been pretty great. Like the handful of them I have from the ones that have come out have all been really solid. No loose joint problems or anything like that. They look really great on the shelf. And we've mainly been doing like Reds and 6/Special Rangers, which makes sense. I honestly at this moment can't foresee us ever doing full teams again or trying to, like when Sentai figurearts used to be. Like they seem like they were trying to go for that. But I hope we branch out a little bit. There's a bunch of ones I'd like to see. Of Reds and 6 are fine, but I would love to see them branch out maybe a little into some main team members. Like my main thing is that I'm not wanting this to become my main like figure collection where I'm collecting full teams of everyone, but there's some like individual Rangers that aren't Reds and 6 that I'd love to see. Like in particular, I would love like a Kiji brother and an Inui brother figure. I'd love a couple of the Kikanoids and stuff like that. I'd love a Rita figure. So it's like there's just some more one-offs. Like if we just had a Rita figure and like a Jiren figure and an Inui brother figure, that'd be fine. Like I don't need to complete the team. There are just some select characters I'd like to see. So I'm hoping that the Sentai figurearts do well enough that we start seeing more of them that aren't Reds and 6 and they branch out a little bit. But that's it for my Sentai video. What do you guys want to see out of Sentai this year and beyond, both in terms of the merchandising and in terms of the show and the crossovers and the movies and all that stuff? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and comment steps, ring that bell. See you notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.